What's up guys, it's Greta and welcome to this week's video on how to prevent split ends and how to get rid of them at home. I might adjust that title for the actual video, but that is basically what this is going to be about. So I have about 5 points to get through on prevention. Some of them are a little more common and we'll get through those more quickly. But we need to go over prevention because maybe the reason you have split ends is because you aren't practicing these prevention techniques or methods in the first place. So that is super important. And then we'll go over how to actually get rid of them, and I'll give you a little bit of a demonstration for that here today. So be sure to follow all the way along in the video to the end so that you can see how we're going to do that. So let's jump right into our prevention tips. Tip number 1 is obvious. Don't use so much heat. Using heat dries out the hair and it makes it more brittle, and it's more easily going to break off and cause split ends. Number 2 is also fairly obvious, and that's using a deep conditioner. You can find a mask that is very hydrating to the hair or strengthening, or both. And you can do that on a weekly basis, maybe a couple times a week or something, whatever is gonna work for you. But you gotta make sure that hair is hydrated, because when it's hydrated, it's stronger. It's going to be less dry, obviously, so it won't break as much and cause split ends. The third point is to use a wide tooth comb or like a wet brush or something that isn't going to be pulling and tugging on the hair as much. You can be brushing this in the shower with your conditioner or gently when the hair is wet after. Basically, you just need to change how you're brushing your hair. If you're ripping through it, that is obviously going to break your hair and cause split ends. So that is a really big point. I get really tangly. My hair gets very tangly at times, and so I want to brush it a couple times during the day sometimes, and I just need to be gentle with it, starting at the bottom and working my way up. So again, you aren't pulling on the hair, ripping it out, or breaking it. Number 4 is something that is a little less widely known, and that is to look at the ingredients in your conditioner. What does it have? Because we are looking for PEC, or polyelectrolyte compound, and that is basically an ingredient that kind of adheres your hair back together for a little while. This is by no means a permanent solution to split ends, but helps them stick together so that you can last a little bit longer in between maybe your haircuts and cleaning up those ends. On top of that, if you watched my video from last week, how to prevent staticky hair, I talked about polyquaternium 11, and that ingredient is an anti-static ingredient. So basically what you're getting from that is something that is really moisturizing to the hair. So that on top of PEC in your ingredients is going to be super helpful to just kind of heal or mend that hair strand for a little bit. You can kind of think of it as a band-aid, because really these are just things that are going to help you get by, but not fix the problem. And number 5 is switch up how you wear your hair. And this is something that we don't really think about very often. And why I'm saying this is because we create a lot of breakage depending on how we're wearing our hair. So for example, if you can see, let me find them. I have little hairs in here that have broken off from wearing my hair in a bun on the top of my head all the time. So recently I have tried to switch up how I wear my hair, so I'm not wearing a bun on top of my head as often as I used to. Now I'm trying to do a low pony or a low bun, or switch where the ponytail is, or something different or looser, because that is going to just switch it up so the hair isn't always having that pull on it in the same area of your head. It's often that we have little hairs in the back that don't really grow. That's again, it's just breakage. This is normal, but obviously it's what we're trying to prevent. So consider switching up how you're wearing your hair, especially if your messy bun is always in the exact same place. You're noticing little hairs and breakage here. That's probably because your bun or ponytail or whatever you're doing is tighter and causing a lot of stress on those hairs, which around the face are normally a lot more fragile, and they just break. And obviously with breakage comes split ends, and that's what we're trying to prevent. So that was number 5, and now we're gonna get into how to actually get rid of your split ends. The only way to actually get rid of split ends is to cut them off. And I am a hairdresser and I work in a salon. I tell my clients every 3-4 months you should come in for like a cleanup. I don't like the word trim. I usually say like a dusting or let's clean it up or something, but it really means the same thing from you to me in terms of what I'm actually doing to the hair. I just don't like to use the word trim because a trim is a haircut. A haircut is either getting half an inch off to getting 7 inches off. It is the same method, you're just cutting off less or more. So a trim is a haircut to me. So this is why I prefer terms like, let's just dust the ends, or let's just clean it up a little bit, you know? So basically what we're doing is we are just going to clean up the very ends, get all the dead ends and split ends off, and then you are set to go. I usually say every 3-4 months we'll just clean it up so it can grow out a little bit healthier. If you do not do this, if you do not cut your hair, the split ends will split higher and higher and higher and higher and higher until they're split all the way up here, but your hair is all the way down here, and you don't want to have to cut it all the way up to here to get rid of all your split ends. So please get regular haircuts and just tell your hairdresser, I just want to clean up the ends to get rid of the split ends because I'm trying to grow it out, or because you're trying to maintain this length and keep it healthy. But every probably 3 months is a really good time to do that, depending on how damaged your hair is. If it's super damaged, you might have to just start fresh and then do little haircuts here and there, maybe less frequently because your hair is really healthy now because you got rid of all the split ends. And then make sure you're doing all the preventative measures so that you do not have to relive the experience of cutting all your hair off again. So now I'm going to show you how you can cut some of your split ends off all by yourself at home. All right, I have my little towel here. I just grabbed like a hand towel, nothing big or fancy. I'm sitting down in a chair, so I'm just gonna lay this over my lap. And then I have with me my hair cutting shears. And I would highly, highly recommend that you use shears that are actually made for hair cutting because they're made for that. And your other shears or scissors around the house, like your kitchen scissors or your crafting ones, are not meant to be cutting hair and will be way worse for your hair because they'll just cause more damage than good, and you'll get split ends even sooner. So even if you just go to like your Sally's or something and get like a cheaper pair, you just want to make sure they're sharp and that they're okay. And so just a quick little tip, you can see over here, when you are getting your shears, you want to make sure that they are properly adjusted with this knob here. So I'll just show you quickly. This knob here is what we're going to be adjusting. Some of them you can easily twist, some you need a little tool to insert and twist. Basically, we just want to make sure that they are adjusted properly. So we're gonna lift this up to about 90 degrees and let go. Just like this. So this one is slightly tight because I kind of want it to fall more here than where it is. So I'm gonna loosen them slightly and try that again. Okay, so that was too much because they're falling all the way shut. Tighten it a little bit more. And here we are, right about there. Okay. So that means that they are adjusted properly. They're not too loose and they're not too tight. If they are way too tight, they are going to be dulling themselves very quickly. And if they are too loose, they're obviously not going to cut very well because the hair will just kind of bend or get more damaged. So that's the quick tip on how to make sure that your shears are properly adjusted. All right, so what we are going to be doing with our shears and towel is going to be kind of a time-consuming method to get rid of your split ends. So when you have a lot of time or you're bored or you're just sitting watching TV and you can just do this, that's probably the best way to go about it. But I'm just gonna kind of show you quickly what I'm doing. So this is for those that are very dedicated to get rid of their split ends by themselves at home. So a lot of times you see flyaways and frizzy things up here, and that could potentially be your split ends. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take like a top layer of the hair, and I'm gonna grab a comb. So I've got my comb now and my shears. I've got my towel on my lap, and I'm just going to go ahead and take a section of hair from the top layer. Just gonna comb that out. So now what you're gonna wanna do is take 3 fingers, place your middle finger lower, bring the hair into the fingers, and then even out the fingers so it looks like that. Now what you're going to do is just kinda go down, and anytime you see little hairs sticking up, you can cut off the ends ever so slightly, just to make sure they're all clean and there are no split ends. If you can visually see your split ends, you know exactly which ones actually need to be cut, and you can leave the other ones if they don't need to be cut. Now, I recently had a haircut, so I'm actually not seeing a lot of split ends. I also try, obviously, to take really good care of my hair. So let's give you a little bit more of an up-close view of what I'm doing. Let's go ahead and comb that in the direction that you are going to be pulling it down. 3 fingers, middle one down, lower, and then even them out. Okay. And maybe you can see here as I come down. Let's try on this side, see if we can see it better this way. So basically that is what you are going to do, because like I said, the only way to actually get rid of split ends is to cut them off. So if you have the time and the patience to go through your hair like that, go for it. Also, if you're really worried about the ends, I would definitely suggest going to a professional to take care of the actual ends. So please be sure to see a professional for a real haircut, but this is one way to get rid of some of those hairs that stick out within the length of your hair, to get rid of those split ends. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, if you learned anything, please give it a thumbs up, because that really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Also, leave a comment down below if you have any questions or requests of videos you would like for me to make in the future. And then be sure to subscribe to my channel, because you don't want to miss those videos that you're going to request or want to see. I do post videos weekly every Thursday, and I'd hope and love for you to join me on my journey here on YouTube. Thank you for your support, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.